Ready. Hey, Woody, does last night's win in some ways, is it representative of guys taking a breath, right, and doing what they know how to do after the uncertainty of the time, it's for everybody, but the time that leads up to the trade deadline?
I don't know. I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think maybe it did impact certain guys. I don't think it only affected a few guys, in my opinion, that were kind of reading reports and probably concerned, obviously Joey and Lance being the two main guys. And then some of our, back end bullpen guys, I guess, we're getting a lot of talk about. But I think the rest of the guys, it was just kind of another day. I think, we focused on a lot of things lately on how to improve and how to play better baseball. And, we obviously made some improvements with the personnel we, have brought up from a defensive standpoint, especially. So I honestly baseball we
did. You've got, obviously now you've got, your guys, and you go forward with, with your group like this. Do you get that? I don't know. Do you get a different sense from them at all?
Listen, it's a there is a core to this group, just a younger core that kind of have come up, or some of these guys have played together, and especially in spring training, kind of hung out together. They consider themselves kind of the core of the younger group, so they're all getting a chance to kind of bond and perform at this level together. It's special. It's something that you would wish for every team. Every team that I played on, especially as a major leaguer. When we came up as a group together, there's bonds that you share, especially in the minor leagues or in that, whether you played in the minor leagues or not. But when you're like the younger group, you tend to stick together, and that you guys are kind of in the fight to establish yourself as big league players together. And when you get a core group that kind of does that, and now they're being asked to, win games, it's pretty special. And, hopefully we get to see that enthusiasm, that energy. With no fans, we can create a lot of it because of our youth. I think that's a really big bonus for us.
What are your thoughts about having Leody back in that leadoff spot today?
Yeah, it was something that actually Chu and I had talked about, just for the future of the team, Leody kind of being that guy. And from what we've both seen, Chu's very understanding of where we sit as a team and, the future of the team, and was very open to that conversation. He actually brought that conversation to me, and it just tells a lot about the character of Shin-Soo Chu, understanding that. And Tavares has kind of reached out to him about how to lead off and what he does, his mindset. And I told Leo, I said, you picked the right guy. You picked the right guy to learn from, because he's one of the best in baseball. Just the way he prepares, the professionalism he has in every at bat to lead off a game, understanding the value of, the importance of, swinging at strikes, how to narrow it down in the strike zone, but yet be aggressive. I think is something that he does better than anybody I've ever seen. He hits a lot of first pitch homers. If they try to throw it down the middle, he launches it. If he doesn't, it's ball one or strike one if it's not where he wants it. So I just applaud Leo for reaching out to Chu, and for Chu to understand, okay, this may be best for our development and Leo's development for the last month.
Yeah, finally from me, Woody, the fact that you've got Kolby Allard on the mound. The kid had no-hit stuff for a long time last time out, and he does seem to be, he seems to feed right on confidence. A very confident kid anyway. I mean, is there a chance he can take that confidence he was feeling, those good feelings from the last game, into this one?
Yeah, he's kind of an old soul in a young man's body. The way he kind of goes about his business, a lot of guys have commented on just the way he, prepares and the way he approaches every game and what he does in his 4 days that he's not pitching. He's drawn a lot of applaud from especially our main guys. Lance notices it, Gibby noticed it, all of our guys, Mike Miner noticed it. So for him to have a couple rough outings, talk through it, create some solutions, figure out what the deal is and how to fix it and how to make, how to be more effective. And then he goes out and does what he did. It's not surprising to any of us because we know the competitiveness and his ability to execute. Once he kind of righted the ship and we knew that he could execute his pitches to all sides and throw all his pitches, I wasn't surprised by his success last time. And listen, hopefully he does the same thing today.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Woody.
Other questions, please. Raise your hand. Sam.
Just curious to follow up. So Chu came to you. What exactly did he say about the leadoffs when he came to you and spoke?
He just, we just kind of talked about the leadoff spot, and Chu understands that Leo's probably our future in that spot, and to not have to worry, because I would obviously put Chu there. He's one of the best at bats we have. He's one of our best hitters, if not our best hitter. So, to have him at the top is always really important for us as a ball club. But for Chu to understand that Leo's going to take over that role at some point in the near future, to kind of be able to move Chu down. And I kind of like having Chu. I told him, I said I would love to have you in the 3-hole. Our 3-holes hasn't had a ton of production this year, so put one of our best hitters, if not our best hitter, in the 3-hole. And then to have Leo leading off, it's a pretty good spot for our ball club.
Is there, obviously you have, you're kind of identifying Leody as a potential like future leadoff hitter. Is there anybody else currently on the roster or in the organization that you see maybe competing or being fit for that role if it comes to that?
It's tough. I mean, you look down at the guys we have below, probably not, to be honest with you. I mean, with the speed and the ability to kind of see pitches and stay in the strike zone, control the strike zone, he's got an elite quality. A lot of our guys, some of our guys can control the strike zone, but they don't have the speed. Or, he's a switch hitter, so it doesn't really matter which side they're throwing from. He can bunt. He can do a lot of different things to just get on base. And then when he does get on base, he causes havoc, as you see. So I don't know if anybody kind of fits the typical leadoff mold like he does. He's probably our best one.
Thank you.
Other questions, please. Raise your hand, Jeff.
What does Kiner-Falefa have to do to ensure going forward that he can be an everyday player? Because his bat doesn't really profile at third.
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys around the league. I mean, listen, there's some really good third basemen that hit 30, 40 homers, but there are also some other guys, David Fletcher being one of them, that can be in a really good lineup where I know he's playing short now, but that can maintain that. I think the thing that kind of impressed me yesterday, his first 2 at-bats, there's certain pitchers that give him a little bit of trouble, with sometimes spin and sink. He gets a lot of ground balls, so he's trying to learn how to handle those different at-bats. And it took him a couple yesterday to finally get a ball in the air off of Valdez, but he did, and it was a commitment in his mind to be able to do those things. So I think it's just a consistency of every day. His bat to ball is elite, but he's got to now kind of understand how to handle all different types of pitching, different spins, different fastballs, left, right. He's struggled a little bit against righties this year, so we're trying to figure out how he can handle the spin and then the right-handed fastball. So just honestly being consistent on a daily basis and learning how to handle the different at-bats is the best way for him to prove that he can be out there on a daily basis with the bat in his hand.
Could he be kind of your super utility guy?
Potentially. I mean, it depends. Obviously, the good thing is he's very versatile. So he can play second, he can play short, he can play third. He could be in a lot of different plans for us moving forward. So if we have the option to potentially sign a third baseman or whatever we may have, after the end of this year, we could always move him around. And if that's the case, then we could do that as well.
All right. Thanks.
Emily, you could eyes on the road, please, when you asked your question.
Okay. Hey, Woody, it seems like tonight was a pretty complete game. The opener against the Dodgers, it seemed like both of those games, you guys, the defense was really crisp. What have you guys done to make strides in that area? And is it a matter of, the guys that are out there now are just more elite defensively, or do they have an increased sense of focus? Can you pinpoint anything?
I think, we upgraded, obviously, personnel. I would say that had a lot to do with it. Getting Elvis back at short. Like I said, Frazier did a good job for us at third, but Kiner's, in my opinion, a well above average third baseman. So, you move Kiner over to third. Now it's, our defense is better. You've got Guzzi, who's one of the best in the game at first. With Eli White going out to left, we have an elite outfield with Tavares coming in not too long ago. So we've upgraded personnel, but I think there has been, and, one thing I would give credit to our guys, regardless of how, poorly or well we have played defensively, they never stopped working. It wasn't a lack of effort or work. We just didn't make plays, and we just didn't make the plays we needed to at times to win games, and unfortunately, it cost us a few games. But right now, I think it's just a mixture of everything. But the work has never stopped.
It's same, and maybe I'm reaching too much, but it seems like the activity on the base paths too has been a big player in the games that you guys have played well. Is there certain, I know you can't force the issues, right? But is there things you can identify that regardless of who's pitching that you guys can take advantage of that aspect of your game?
Absolutely. And I think that the times when we haven't been effective on the bases is because we're not getting on the base. I think that's the hardest thing. It's like, we want to do that all the time. We want to create pressure every chance we can when we get on base. So, if we've really hit on our guys, you looking up and down our lineup, like I said before, we don't have a bunch of guys that hit 40 homers. So we're going to have to create some runs and just finding a way to get on base. There's a lot of work that goes into that. Obviously there's a fight, and the resolve of the at-bat quality is critical, but obviously knowing how we can beat that guy and how we can, extend at bats and potentially get walks or 2-strike hits, or however we need to get on base. We need to fight, scratch and claw to get on base. Because when we do, just like you said, we do things. We're not afraid to push the envelope, and we know how to expose some of the flaws in the other team that are provided to us. So unless we get guys on base, we can't do that. And that's been some of our issues, is just not being able to get guys on base, or we fall too far behind early in the game. For a week there, we were 5-0 in the second inning every time. So it was making it hard for us to do things on the bases that we would like to do.
Evan Grant.
My eyes are on the road as well. Save for getting into the thick of this playoff race, what is the single biggest thing you guys could accomplish in September in your mind?
Oh man, there's a lot to accomplish, and that's kind of what I've been saying. It's I told our team yesterday. Before yesterday we had 27 games left, and I'm not letting one rep go to waste. I'm not letting one at bat go to waste. Like, we need to get as much as we can out of every game, and I think that's the way we should play anyways. It doesn't really matter if we're in it or not. That's how we need to play the game. But it's easy to lose focus when you start to fall back in the race. Listen, we don't think we're out of it. We're going to keep fighting to the end until they tell us we're not. And even if we do get eliminated, we're still going to fight for however many games we have after that. It's too valuable right now. We stress win every pitch, and that's what we're going to have to continue to stress, every day, every pitch, every game. And so, like, the experience is invaluable for some of these guys right now. And we're going to talk through these things. We're not going to let, games just go by and just say, we're just going to give them experience and let them go play. We need to talk through a lot of these things to gain some understanding and some knowledge into how to, if they felt like, one at bat, they were great, let's talk about it. If one at bat the next time, not so great, we're going to talk about that as well. We're just going to have continual discussions about how to improve. And I think that those discussions are happening, and guys are, we're talking about the game, and we've always done that, but especially with the younger group, we have to do that.
On Guzman, is there minutia here? Is he okay? I mean,
yeah, he's fine. He's, he took the ball in the fingers, and then he's got obviously a sore right thumb as well. So I felt it was good he didn't want to, obviously, a day off, but he needs to rest up those hands. He'll be back in there tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Couple more. TR Dave. TR and then Dave and then Alex, and I'll end it.
Mr. Woodward, I just want to be clear or make sure I'm clear. Are you committing to Leotis as your leadoff hitter for the remainder of the season? Is that the plan?
I'd say primarily, yeah. I would say that would probably be the plan. Obviously we can change that at any time, but I would like to get him as many experiences there as possible.
Okay, the other question I've asked, I know this got lost in all the – Kluber and Leclerc were shut down for 4 weeks from throwing. We're way past that mark. I'm just curious, are they in an actual throwing program right now?
I believe so, but I don't know how far along it is. It's they're still a ways away from being anywhere near, playing, being able to be active, I guess.
Well, I'm sure of that. I just want to know, are they actually able to throw a baseball now?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't think it's very much, but I believe so.
Okay.
Dave?
Yeah, Woody, two quick things. One is Gallo batting fifth today. What was the idea there, the thinking there? And then the other one is last night in the ninth inning, how much consideration did you guys give when the count went 3-0 on Springer to just putting him on in that spot?
The 3-0, I mean, maybe, you know, it obviously crossed your mind. But I trust those guys. I mean, obviously, with Jonathan, you know, he's got good stuff. So it's, you know, I like the matchup there. I didn't mind. I felt like if he executes a pitch, regardless of whether it's 3-0 or 3-1, you know, Springer's obviously a good hitter, but, you know, with Jonathan's movement, if he can execute a pitch, you know, we're hoping to get a ground ball, and we did. Almost got through, but not quite. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely in consideration, but if I thought he was going to throw, you know, a four-seamer right down the middle that he could hammer, probably not. I probably would have put him on. But with Jonathan's stuff, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense. What was the first question again?
Gallo today in the
Oh,
lineup.
Gallo Benford, yeah. I think it was just a split up because with Chu, obviously, you know, has trouble against lefties sometimes, just to split them up so it wouldn't be an easy pathway to kind of go left for those two guys. I know Joey handles lefties, but it may make him a little bit hesitant to bring in a lefty, you know, with Solak hitting right behind him, with Kiner in front of him. So it may make it a little bit harder. And plus Joey, you know, Joey's been battling. You know, I try to want to maybe ease back a little bit and kind of give him a little bit of a breather from the four hole and just hopefully get him going a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Alex, last one.
Woody, with the outfield core that you have, is Chu basically going to be a DH for the remainder of the season, or is he going to get some work in left field?
I guess it depends. He might get out there depending on, you know, if guys are banged up a little bit. But if we got Eli and even Solak, either one of those guys, if they're in left field or Heineman, I'd probably go with one of those guys because they're pretty good. They're obviously all above average in my opinion. You know, with Eli and Heineman being well above. So I'm not saying he's going to DH every day, but there's a good chance if those guys are available and healthy that they'd probably be in left field.
And Heineman was talking about this yesterday about getting some ground balls in at first base. Does he have a better chance of starting being a right-handed option as first base rather than being in the outfield?
With Eli up here, you know, and I kind of want to give Eli a decent look, especially against left-handed pitching, maybe. I've asked him to kind of, you know, I know he's played first in the past and he played first for us a little bit last year. So it is a way to get him in the lineup, which I don't want to disregard Heineman. I think a lot of them, and I think the organization values him as well. But with Eli up here and him, you know, it's going to be tough to get those guys the at-bats that they really want. So playing Heineman at first base is a way to do that, especially against lefties.
For Kolby to have that outing tonight after the one he had his last time out, what does that do for him in the overall grand scheme of things?
It should give him a ton, honestly. You know, that's a tough lineup that he faced, and you know they obviously hit lefties really well. So for him to kind of have that outing against that lineup, him being left-handed, the way he kind of moved the ball around, kept him off balance, did kind of what he did last start. Honestly, you know, used both sides of the plate with all his pitches, used his changeup pretty effectively. It was really good. And unfortunately, it was just the one mistake, and we couldn't really muster anything on offense. Otherwise, it was a really, really good outing.
What did you see from your offense just in their approach? Anything different from last night, or is it just a change of personnel?
I know the guy, you know, obviously he doesn't light up the radar gun, but he's got a unique fastball. He's got that kind of slurvy slider. Something about his fastball that gets people off time. I don't know if it's his delivery, his deception, you know, something it seemed like our guys knew what was coming and still couldn't be on time for some reason. You know, we were in between a lot. We were late on some fastballs, took some good rips at some balls at times and just didn't put them in play. Hit some hard line drives to lead off a few innings. But other than that, I mean, we didn't really hit too many balls hard, and you know he kept us off balance for some reason. So it was frustrating because I know that Kolby did a heck of a job, but you know hopefully we'll come back tomorrow and hit a little better.
How encouraging is it for Guzzi to have come in and get that hit where he did?
Yeah, he looks good. I mean, he's pretty much given a good at bat every time he's up there. So he'll be in there tomorrow, obviously, and you know he had some sore hands. He got hit in the hand yesterday. Had a thumb issue, so kind of giving him a day off. But we need him back in there because he's swinging a hot bat.
Thanks, Woody.
Other questions for Woody, Chris?
Can you explain what happened with the foul ball that it looked like it hit off the roof? Can you just explain what happened there?
Yeah, it hit one of the beams. Obviously, the question was whether it was in foul territory or fair. It's kind of the same ground rules that we have. So if it hits in fair territory, the ball is live. If it lands fair, it's a fair ball. If it hits in foul territory, then it's foul no matter what, even if the ball comes down and is caught. So from our standpoint, based on where the fielders were going, they were running to foul territory. So it led us to believe, and me to believe, that it hit the beams in foul territory. That's obviously it's up for debate. You can look up there and see where the beam is, where you think it might have hit, but unfortunately, there's no good angle from our standpoint or from MLB's standpoint to determine exactly if it hit fair or foul. But in my judgment, I thought it hit in foul territory. That's why I was trying to get it to be called a foul ball.
And then just right after that, we had it looked like the umpire wanted to check the ball before Kolby started pitching. Do you know what was going on with that?
No, he was just we were just kind of waiting for the second base umpire to get back out. That's all. It had nothing to do with the ball. He just was stalling and waiting for his counterpart to get back out there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
TR?
Chris, what gives you confidence to believe that Kolby Allard can sustain something like this for the long term and nail down a long-term spot in a major league rotation?
I think that's the question for every starter that hasn't established themselves as a major league starter. I think it's his attention to detail, his ability to kind of bounce back. He's done that, last year and this year. In game, he can bounce back. He can give up a homer. He did that, at times, a few times last year where he gave up some runs early and then just shut it down after that. Shut the offense down after that. I think it's just, his ability to execute and his competitiveness. Honestly, like he's got all the attributes to be able to be successful, especially for a starter. He can he's open to criticism, open to kind of changing game plans and working off game plans that may be different than what he wants to do. And he's done that the last two outings, and he's been successful. So that kind of leads me to believe that he can do it. He's just always got to kind of stay ahead of the curve and stay ahead of where that opposing team may be looking. He doesn't have completely overpowering stuff, but his stuff plays. His stuff plays up. His fastball plays up. When he's commanding the baseball to both sides, he's really tough to hit.
Other questions for Woody? Levi?
The move in the eighth inning with the pinch hit and the pinch run that ended up being a defensive replacement. I mean, was that just an indication of just sort of the urgency of playing an opponent that you're trying to chase for the second place spot in the division?
Absolutely. No, I mean, it's the tying run. I don't, obviously Guzzi doesn't run well, and Eli White has elite speed. So that was kind of a no-brainer in my opinion, trying to get that. Obviously Eli didn't get a great jump trying to steal. And that would be something that we talked to him about. If you don't get a good jump, just shut it down. But yeah, you have elite speed out there. Clearly he can steal a base or score on, a double at any time. So it didn't seem like an easy decision.
Right on. That's all I had.